What is going on, you guys? It is your boy, Matt Talks Films, and I am back with another video, and I am back with another review, and this time I am talking about the cherry on top of the year 2025 in film. I am talking about a film that's directed by Josh Safdie. I am talking about the best film of 2025 and my personal favorite film of 2025. I am talking about and reviewing Marty Supreme. And man, oh man, did this film live up to its hype and expectations, because god damn it, I've seen this film twice now. I saw it once on Christmas Eve, the 1 o'clock showing, the very first showing of that day, and I saw it late night Christmas night. And it was worth every goddamn penny each time. And I even got a free popcorn bucket via Regal Cinemas. And one day I will be sponsored by Regal, hopefully, or own my own Regal theater one day or some shit like that. But Regal, I will continue to eat up these popcorn buckets. I mean, I'm a fiend for these popcorn buckets, and I am glad to have a Marty Supreme ping pong popcorn bucket in my possession. I love this film. This film is fucking tremendous, and I can't pray enough for this film to make a lot of money in the box office, because not only does Josh Safdie deserve it, not only does A24 deserve it, but fucking Timothy Chalamet deserves it. And I have a lot to say about this film. It's the last film of 2025 I will be doing a review on. Of course, in 2026 to start, I will be doing a whole bunch of videos talking about films from 2025, rankings, lists, and etc. But right now, I am talking about Marty Supreme, my favorite film of the year and the best film of 2025, which is a statement in itself. This is the epitome of a cherry on top, and even more so. If you made it this far in the video and you want to hear more of my thoughts, leave a like, comment, and subscribe right now at Matt Talks Films on YouTube. And follow me everywhere at Matt Talks Films. Everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Follow me everywhere for more content like this, because 2026 is my year and a lot of different aspects of my life, specifically in this content game, especially when it comes to talking films, because that's what I love to do the most. And I hope you guys have a great time vibing with me and having fun talking about the best film of the year, Marty Supreme. Let's get into it. Hopefully you know the gist by now. Before I get into my review, my opinionated thoughts, and my strong feelings, I gotta tell you what Marty Supreme is about. And what Marty Supreme is about is pretty relatable on the surface. It's following a character that has this relentless ambition. And we are following this character called Marty Mauser, played by the great Timothy Chalamet. And Marty Mauser is a ping pong player, aka a table tennis player. And he considers himself the best table tennis player in the world. And as we watch this film unfold for 150 minutes, we find out if that's true or not. And Marty Supreme, aka Marty Mauser, will do anything to accomplish his dreams and his goals. And that is to prove he is the best ping pong player in the world, let alone the United States. And he is on a mission. And in this film, he goes through hell and back from start to finish to accomplish this dream that he's had for pretty much his entire life. That's the only thing he wants to do with his life. And that is his main purpose in his life. There's no other purpose in his life. This is what he thinks he is meant to do solely. He's not ready to settle down. He's not ready to do other things. He's not ready to explore love to its fullest extent. He's not ready to be a father. He just wants to be the best of the best when it pertains to his passion and his craft and to his ambitions. And it is a relatable character. However, it is also a flawed character. And we get to see his relentless ambition throughout the entirety of this film. We get to see his trial and tribulations. We get to see him fail and fail and fail. We get to see him misguided, misled onto the wrong path. We get to see him halted in his path. We get to see him fuck up. We get to see him do the wrong things. And the payoff and the satisfying ending of this film is due to the accumulations of all his fuck ups. And it's perfect. I love this story. Not only is it a relatable story, it is just an enthralling tale to watch unfold. It is anxiety inducing, it's enthralling, it's thrilling, and goddamn it, it's a roller coaster ride that you don't want to hop off of. And it's perfect filmmaking and it's perfect acting on all fronts. Now, I don't want to call this film a perfect film, but goddamn it, I kind of feel like it's a perfect film. This film almost is like a masterpiece, if not a masterpiece to me. And I really can't believe how much this film lives up to its hype. And I couldn't fully say the statements I just said before I saw it a second time. And it might have been even greater the second time around. Somehow the cast sticks out so much more, which is a shocker because the cast the first time around is already that great. The filmmaking, the creative decisions, the score, the soundtrack, the attention to detail, it's just all quaintly done. And this is a passion project on all fronts. First of all, it's a passion project for Timothy Chalamet. As you know, if you're watching this video, he trained 6 to 7 years on and off to become pretty much a ping pong player, and it's very noticeable. And this is clearly a passionate project for Josh Safdie. It's his first solo feature length film, and he doesn't miss a goddamn beat. And not only does he one up his brother, he makes the best film of 2025, in my opinion. And this year has been insane. Think about all the films we got. Here are my personal favorite films of this year. Besides Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Eddington, Hamnet, Weapons, Sinners, 28 Years Later, Eternity, Blue Moon, Begonia, If I Had Legs I'd Kick You, Superman, Roofman, Warfare, Splitsville, Predators Badlands, Wake Up Dead Man, The Smashing Machine, Rental Family. He ones up all of those films, and I thought F1 was going to be the easy best sports film of the year and maybe of the half decade. And to me, Mario Supreme tops that. And now it's not really a sports centered film. There's some very great sports aspects to this film. And it's the best sports sequences we get in any film this half decade, in my opinion. The ping pong and table tennis scenes are enthralling, intense, and cinematic to its finest. I mean, it's sensational. And this film lives up to the hype and the expectations that I had going to this film twice were ginormous. The first time I went to it, I was like, this has to be a great film. It has to be Safdie, Josh Safdie, on his own, making his first solo feature length film. And Timothy Chalamet. I mean, he desperately wants the Oscar. And you could tell by the way he marketed. I mean, this is one of the best marketing campaigns we've ever seen, especially of this half decade and of this 21st century, to be quite frank. The run this man, Timothy Chalamet, is on is unheard of. And he kind of shares similarities to Marty Mauser, and he clearly has this relentless ambition to the pursuit of greatness, similarly to Marty Mauser. I mean, Timothy Chalamet, not only does he dominate this picture, he dominated the marketing campaign. So I can't pray enough that this film makes a lot of money. And I went to two showings on Christmas Eve and Christmas, and you would figure those 2 days would be kind of empty. But honestly, I know movie theaters are do really well on Christmas, but these two theaters were packed, and not only were the two theaters packed, everyone was locked in. I'm talking about no one talking during every single showing I went to. And not only that, every time the film finished, people were walking out singing praises about this film. This is a special film. And when there's been a year of special film after special film after special film, and when it's been a year of original film after original film after original film, this is the best original film of the year, and it's the best film of the year, period. It's the best sports movie of the year. It's the best thriller of the year. It's the best comedy of the year. This film has so many different subgenres in it, and it somehow dominates all those subgenres when comparing it to the rest of the films this year. This film is terrific, and in hopes of me not going all over the place, I'm going to try to neaten up this review a little bit more. Because we just talked about the story. We're following Marty Mauser on his pursuit of greatness, and we get to follow his relentless ambition no matter what road it takes him to, heaven or hell or glory. And it's perfect. It's perfect. So let's talk about the filmmaking first, because Josh Safdie just one-ups his brother in an insurmountable way, in my opinion. Listen, I think Benny Safdie's really talented. I really enjoyed The Smashing Machine. Definitely not a great film. It's a good movie. I gave it a 4 out of 5. It probably should be lower. I really preferred the performance over the filmmaking, even though I admired Benny Safdie's admiration for MMA and Pride FC. I think that film had a lot of blemishes, and I kind of overlooked it due to my love of MMA and due to my love of Dwayne The Rock Johnson's performance. And then when you watch Josh Safdie's solo feature debut, it is very clear that he has the most sauce when comparing it to his other brother, who had his first solo feature length as well this year. And people are gonna be like, "Oh, it's unfair to compare those two films." Well, not really, because they started off as a duo, a dominant duo. I mean, these dudes make Good Times and Uncut Gems. They are a dominant duo, and they split up. So you have to compare the two films that they made this exact year. And Josh Safdie easily takes the cake here. Easily. The attention to detail is sensational. If you didn't know, this film is set in the 1950s in New York. And you can tell it feels like the 1950s. Every dime they set on the set design, the set pieces, and the costume design was worth every goddamn penny, even if they don't make profit on this film. I mean, this is an experience. This is the purest example of escapism. You feel like you are just sent straight into New York in the 1950s. And when you go to other places in the 1950s, Japan, England, Sarajevo, or whatever the fuck that country was, it's just you feel like you're dropped into those countries in the 1950s. It is perfection. When we get to go on that tour with the Harlem Globetrotters, it is sensational. You just feel like you are there. The shot selections in this film are unbelievable to watch unfold, and it really, to my opinion, immersifies you to the fullest. I mean, I couldn't believe some of the shot selections in this film. There's a couple shots from the crowd when we're watching Endo versus Marty Mauser, and you feel like you're at a table tennis match. You legitimately feel like you're at a table tennis match, and to me, that amplifies the film so much, so much. And on top of that, all of these castings for these table tennis players are terrific. These feel like dudes that really know how to play table tennis, and I would imagine all the people that are cast in this film, outside of Timothy Chalamet, knew exactly how to play table tennis because you can tell these dudes look great. They look great. So I admire the filmmaking in this film. There's also a really great scene in this film when Endo beats Marty Mauser the first time. No spoiler, but it's a spoiler. Endo beats Marty Mauser in the England, I think the British table tennis tournament, which is the first table tennis scenes we get competitively. And when Endo beats Marty Mauser, obviously we get to see Marty Mauser flip out and freak out and just be upset because he couldn't beat Endo, and he got overzealous, he got overconfident, and he was head above his heels in an insurmountable way when it comes to money and when it comes to his expectations, and he was humbled and he just couldn't handle it. But nonetheless, we get this great scene when Endo wins, and we see how much that means to Japan, and we get this great TV documentary segment filmed like a camera would film it in the 1950s. We get to see these shots of Endo in Japan, all these people around his car, and rejoice of him. It's terrific stuff, and it's brilliant creative choices, because every time we move through a scene and we go to different places and we go to different characters, you feel like you're in the 1950s. It doesn't skip a beat in the slightest. The editing is perfect, the shot selection is perfect, the cinematography is perfect, the attention to detail is perfect, set design, set pieces, costume design is so perfect and so fitting, and is truly signs of great and brilliant filmmaking by Josh Safdie in his solo feature debut as a filmmaker and as a director. Just terrific stuff. You can really tell how much this project meant to him on a lot of fronts, especially when it comes to casting, because the cast in this film is one of the most unique castings I've ever seen in my life. And to me, it's the best cast of the year because of how distinct each person cast in their respective roles are, and how goddamn identifiable all these characters are, and how memorable all these characters are, even the slightest of characters. It's really great. In this movie, we get Timothy Chalamet, Gwyneth Paltrow, Odessa Azayam, Kevin O'Leary, Tyler the Creator, Fran Drescher. I mean, we get so many different people in this movie. We even get George Gervin, Kemba Walker, Tracy McGrady, and a plethora of other people here. It's really interesting stuff, man. There's so many leaps taken here creatively that even if you don't like this movie or don't like it as much as me, you have to immensely respect how much went into this movie creatively, because we don't see this a lot. And yeah, we got a great year of original films. And a lot of people might not be able to tell you that because a lot of the highest grossing films we got this year were IP garbage. But we got some really great original stuff this year. And this is the cherry on top. And it's really thanks to Josh Safdie and how many leaps and bounds he took in this film. I have to talk about the score here because not only the soundtrack great, we get Forever Young and Everyone Wants to Rule the World. And first of all, we get Forever Young to start the film alongside the opening credits, which the opening credits run on for like 10 minutes, and that is a perfect choice. I don't know why, but it's the perfect choice. We get Forever Young. And at the end of the film, as Marty Mauser finally realizes his purpose in life and he's finally addressing the truth, we get Everybody Wants to Rule the World. And it's just two highly popular songs, and any other usage of that song and any other film, it would immediately pull you out the film because of how famous those two songs are. So somehow those two songs feel ridiculously fitting, and they are the perfect assets to this film and the perfect complements to the scenes and sequences that feature those songs. It's just incredibly fitting. And then we get the score, which amplifies this film in numerous different ways in several different scenes and sequences in this film. The score is ridiculous, and this is another sign of a great filmmaker. When you have these incredibly memorable and famous songs used in your films, and then you also know when to just use composed scores. And you don't rely on famous songs and soundtracks. Now, that can work in some ways. We've seen it work in Boogie Nights and other films. But this film does a great job of using great songs when it pertains to using a soundtrack, and also does a great job of using original composed scores. And that is one of the best things about this film. I love the score of this film, and it's extremely heightened and highlighted when you watch it a second time. And you can see it even more so how much it amplifies and adds to a scene. And it's tremendous. The score used in the several table tennis sequences, especially between Marty Mauser and Endo, is the fucking cherry on top. Cherry on top. The score used during the last showdown between Endo and Marty Mauser might be the best score of the year, if not the best usage of any score of the entire year. It is ridiculous how much it adds to the intensity and the severity and the stakes of that scene. It's tremendous. And then when we get to see the result of that final showdown, it's the cherry on top of the character's emotions. So the filmmaking on display here, from a writing standpoint and from a filmmaking standpoint and from a creative standpoint, is some of the best you will ever see, especially of this half decade. I obviously talked about how great the writing in this film is. It's splendid. It's a great compliment to this film. It amplifies the performances in this film. This film is so quotable, and I don't want to quote this film to the point where I ruin this film and I take away from your guys' experiences, but in the future, when you're watching my videos or you see myself talking about this film later in other videos on this channel soon down the road, I will be quoting this film into oblivion from various different characters. I mean, from Marty Mauser to Wally to a couple different characters. The quotes in this film are unattainable and can go on for forever. And I will be quoting the shit out of this film, and just prepare yourself for that if you're sticking around for this channel, because the writing and dialogue written for these characters in this film are so memorable. I was honestly quoting the film I was walking out of the theater, embarrassingly so, and probably to other people's annoyance. But this film is so quotable, and that could not be said enough. And I think a lot of people will agree. This is one of the best films of this half decade, and Josh Safdie is the major reason. And obviously, the performances are another reason for that. I mean, the performances in this film are unbelievable, and we get great characters. I mean, the characters in this film, like I said to start, are so goddamn memorable. So, like, shout out to Ronald Bronstein. He wrote Uncut Gems and Good Times alongside the Safdie brothers, and he collaborated here with Josh Safdie, and they write a brilliant screenplay. And I know this character, Marty Mauser, is loosely based on a real table tennis player, but I have to assume this is the original screenplay and it's going to be nominated. If it is, it's going to win. If it's not an original screenplay, then it's going to be nominated for original adapted screenplay. Then it should definitely win for that, because this film is going to be head to head with one battle after another in several different categories, and that is rightfully so. Rightfully so. You really can't take anything away from this movie, even if you don't love it like I do. You just can't. So let's talk about the performances and the characters here. Because, man, oh man, There's a lot to talk about here. I'm gonna save Timothy Chalamet for the last bit when it talks about the performances. We get Gwyneth Paltrow in this film. Kay Stone. She plays this character. She's the wife to Milton Rockwell, played by Kevin O'Leary, and she ends up getting into this affair with Marty Mauser after they meet up at the hotel and see each other for the first time at the hotel where Marty Mauser's staying at for the England table tennis tournament. And she really falls in love with his confidence, his arrogance, and his just ability. And she just falls in love with how daring he is and how a man as young as him fawns over her, and it's really sensational. And I really like Gwyneth Paltrow in this film, and she's still sexy as ever. I mean, she is sexy as hell. And listen, this is the channel that will say how beautiful a woman is. I don't care. I mean, this is not objectifying. It's objectively true that Gwyneth Paltrow is sexy as hell, and she remains sexy as hell as Kay Stone in this film, and she adds a great presence in this movie. Her character is very good, and the miscellaneous activities that her and Marty Mauser engage in with each other is terrific. The Central Park scene, the scene outside of her apartment after her play opens, the scenes inside the hotel. It's just really great how Marty Mauser and Kay Stone meet up for lunch. It's terrific stuff. She's a great aspect of this film. Let's talk about Odessa Ozion. Odessa Ozion. Odessa Ozion, another woman who's just amazingly attractive. I mean, first of all, I just got done watching I Love LA season 1, and I really like that show. That show annoyed me so much. That show annoyed me so much that I ended up falling in love with it. And honestly, Odessa Zion is one of the major reasons why. I originally saw her in Until Dawn, and that movie is not good. It's a watchable movie. It's not good, but Odessa Zion, she's clearly a talented actress, and she displays that here. She is ultimately the love interest to Marty Mauser. Whether Marty Mauser wants to address it and face the truth, which he eventually does, but she is his ride or die. She loves him, and ultimately she has his baby, and she's pregnant with his baby. And that is the dynamic you get in this film. They are romantically intertwined. Whether Marty Mauser wants to address that and truly settle down right now, which he ultimately does, but she is his love interest, and she is terrific, not only in performance, but she has a great cinematic presence to her that I think will be long lasting in the film industry and in films going forward. And she continues to improve upon her acting skills, and she's pretty multi-dimensional. She's funny in this, and also she knows how to tone switch tremendously well. So Odessa Zion, not only are you beautiful, but you are continuously improving upon your acting skills. I love LA, the show, which I love, and I think you're really terrific here, and I think you are showing signs of major improvements every time you are attached to a new project. So Odessa Zion, you are great. You're a great cinematic presence, and you are really starting to be a great actress yourself. Kevin O'Leary, famously known for being in Shark Tank, he is great here. He is the fourth biggest character with the most screen time in this film. He's pretty much your antagonist in this movie. Really, he is. He's your antagonist. He is the husband to Kay Stone. He is the owner of an ink company called Rockwell Ink. And yeah, he's into the pen business. And Marty Mauser and him get into these miscellaneous activities themselves. They butt heads. Marty Mauser is overconfident, arrogant, and a dickhead to him, quite frankly. And not only is he that, he's fucking his wife. And Kevin O'Leary doesn't ever find that out. But Kevin O'Leary is great. He's really good here. And honestly, we love Marty Mauser in this movie as a viewer, but we understand how flawed he is, and you kind of understand why Kevin O'Leary's character, Milton Rockwell, hates Marty Mauser, and that's the point. Yes, Milton Rockwell is vilified in this film, rightfully so. It wouldn't be a good film or good story if he wasn't vilified in this movie, especially with a certain scene that involves a paddle. But also, he's kind of just for hating Marty Mauser. Marty Mauser, as we get into his character a little bit more later on, he's a douchebag. He's arrogant, overconfident, way over his head, and he overplays his cards consistently until he's finally able to handle the truth. And honestly, ultimately, until he finally loses it and he's finally at his last straw with his attempt to go to Japan and get another chance to compete against Endo. And Milton Rockwell is responsible for that. Not for a couple stimulations though. So Kevin O'Leary is great as Milton Rockwell, and he's one of the biggest highlights of this film. Shockingly so. This is his first acting role, and he's just terrific here. He has a great cinematic presence, and god damn it, he is a great antagonist in this film. A perfect antagonist, as I would say. Tyler the Creator as Wally. He's in a select few scenes here, but Tyler the Creator transcends his enormous figure as an artist. Everyone in this world, whether you listen to his music or not, knows who Tyler the Creator is. As an artist, he's one of the best artists in the world of art and music right now. And some people might know him as a comedic actor through the Loiter Squad series. He is so good here that at times while watching this film, obviously I know it's Tyler the Creator, but he transcends that big name that he has attached to himself. He could have easily been the character that takes you out of this film alongside Kevin O'Leary, but somehow these two find themselves lost completely in their roles. And Tyler the Creator is great as Wally. Him and Timothy Chalamet have great on-screen chemistry together, and they seemingly are great friends. But obviously, Marty Mauser continuously leads Wally down wrong paths and continuously screws over Wally, and Wally still loves him. And it's really great stuff after great stuff. And honestly, Wally is one of the only few people truly honest with Marty Mauser in this film. Obviously, he drives a lot of people up a wall in this movie, whether it's Kay Stone, Rachel, Milton Rockwell, a couple other people, but Wally is the only one really calling him out for his shit. Like, you're a bum. Why would she want to set herself up with you? It's great stuff because there's a scene where Marty is telling Wally, like, she's not pregnant with my baby. It's physically impossible for her to be pregnant with my baby. I pull out, which is another great scene. But Wally's like, why would she want to be stuck with your bum ass unless she loves you? And it's a great scene. And Tyler the Creator is great as Wally. So great. There's a really great scene in this film where Wally and Marty Mauser go to this bowling alley to hustle. They're hustling people out of their money. And Marty is a ping pong player, so is Wally. And they start hustling people out of money because Marty's in desperate need of money after running into a couple incidents. And it's a great scene when him and Wally are just straight up hustling these people at this bowling alley. And then ultimately they get into this crazy scene where the people realize they've been hustled and they finally recognize Marty, and they meet up with Marty and Wally at this gas station, and they destroy his cab, Wally, who's a cab driver, and they lose a dog who Marty and Wally have the possession of. And it's a tremendous scene. And Wally, aka Tyler the Creator, who plays Wally, is terrific. And he's one of the major bright spots of this film. The cast is so stacked. This is truly a unique cast. A truly unique cast. And a lot of people are distinct in their cinematic presence. And a lot of these characters are distinct, just characteristically. There's so many memorable characters, whether they're small or big. Ira, Rebecca, Ezra, Judy, Murray. There's great stuff here on display. After the crazy events that unfold in this film, you kind of forget that Marty Mauser's uncle was a pivotal point of this film. There's a lot of stuff going on here. There's like George Gervin, Kemba Walker, and Tracy McGrady are in this film. In case you guys don't know who those people are, those are NBA basketball legends. Kemba more so in college, but Tracy McGrady and George Gervin are legends. And yes, we don't get lines from Tracy McGrady and Kemba Walker because they are part of the Globetrotters, but George Gervin plays a pivotal part of this film. He is this guy who runs this ping pong place who is pretty much like a father figure adjacent person to Marty Mauser. Like, we don't see that to that extent, but clearly they have a really profound relationship between the two. So the cast is terrific from top to bottom. A lot of distinct and unique characters. I was obsessed with this entire cast. There's even someone named Merle who's like the assistant to Kay Stone, who is such a funny scene. I mean, it's just tremendous writing. And these actors who are asked to play these roles, big or small, do a terrific job. But now let's get to the best performance in this film, the best performance of the year, and the best performance of this half decade alongside Cillian Murphy and Jesse Buckley and Hamnet, in my opinion. Let's talk about Timothy the Great Chalamet. This is the torch passing moment in his career. Because I'm gonna be honest with you here, he's been absurdly great in a lot of different films over his career. Bones and All, Wonka, A Complete Unknown, Call Me By Your Name, Lady Bird, Dune 1, Dune 2. But this is the moment in his career where he's taking the next step, and he's proven to everyone who might have not taken him seriously up until this point that, hey, I am the number one option in Hollywood. I am the most sought after actor in Hollywood after this film. Because what he is asked to deliver on in this role as Marty Mauser and how he beautifully executes all the emotions that Marty Mauser is asked to display is terrific and honestly spellbinding and kind of surreal. I mean, this dude goes into this role ridiculously so. He's a flawed character, but he's also an easy character to relate to and root for. He is narcissistic. He is arrogant. He is ignorant. He's a liar. He's deceitful. He is a whole plethora of things that are flaws, but very humane flaws. And I can't say enough, and I can't overstate enough how great of a job he does of conveying and portraying these great amount of emotions. And there's so many different layers to it. So many different layers to it. This is his moment, and he should win the Oscar. He should this upcoming March. As much as I love Leo in One Battle After Another, and as much as Leo deserves more than one Oscar, Timothy Chalamet transcends way more than Leo did in One Battle After Another. And I truly think Leo in One Battle After Another is one of Leo's best performances, especially in his late career right now. But Timothy, this is like, hey man, torch is passed, and I think the torch will be officially passed in March. As much as these voters are going to be inclined to give Leo his second, Timothy deserves his first. And I think this will be a much more satisfying win for Timothy Chalamet because yes, he was disappointing he didn't win for Bob Dylan, but this is a much more impressive win for me because this is the original character. Yes, I know it's slightly based on a table tennis player in real life, but this is an original character, and this is a role that he truly dove into and prepped for years, on the surface and physically. Timothy Chalamet is a monster in this movie, just a monster. It's like watching a great athlete about to enter his prime, or at least he's in the very early stages of his prime, and he's fully taken over. He has a hot streak. It's like watching Steph Curry on Golden State Warriors when he started to hit his prime. It's like LeBron hitting his prime in Miami or late in his early tenure with the Cavs. It's like watching Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes. You're starting to get the point here. Mbappe in the World Cup final. Like, this is that type of performance here. This guy is sensational and magnetic in every single way. The cinematic presence is absurd. You're glued to the screen every time he's on it, which he's pretty much on the screen the entirety of the time. So you have no chance to look away from the screen, and that is exactly perfect. I mean, he's funny, charismatic, and also he's flawed. Like, that is the type of performance that puts you above others. Puts you above others. And this dude is on a trajectory that is going to lead him amongst the greats of Leo, Marlon Brando, Nicholson, all those plethora of great actors. He is going to be sitting amongst those dudes when we talk about great actors in the world of cinema if he continues to take great leaps in projects and if he continues to take great strides in his performance because he's great physically here, he's great characteristically here, and he portrays every single emotion and every single tone change perfectly. I mean, this character of Marty Mauser brings you on a ride, an anxiety inducing ride. And Marty Mauser, all the trial and tribulations that fail for him, all the roads that he goes on that he probably shouldn't go on, and all of the deceit and lying and manipulation that he does to other people finally catches up to him. And we are finally able to see him in a vulnerable state, in a state where he's not confident anymore. We get to see a great scene between him and Milton Rockwell at K Stone's after party for her opening of her play that Milton Rockwell funded himself. We get to see that scene where we leave Central Park. K Stone and Marty Mauser, they get into this sexual scene after K Stone gives him this necklace, one of 25 that her husband gives her every single year. That's worth about $3,000 to $5,000, which would be more than enough to pay off the fine from the TTA, and would be more than enough to get a flight to Japan there and back, and then some. But he goes down another bad road that he probably shouldn't have. He starts having sex, pretty much, oral sex, with Keystone in the middle of Central Park, which leads to the cops seeing them, and which leads to the cops taking that necklace, and which leads to them going back to the party and Marty Mauser ignorantly and insensitively asking K Stone for another necklace, which she reluctantly says yes. She returns to this party and she finds out the news that we don't know for sure, but we assume because of her reaction that the play didn't receive good reviews from the New York Times. And Marty Mauser, after waiting 30 minutes on the street after she told him to, goes up into this apartment, walks by Milton Rockwell and his friends on the couch, goes straight up to K-Stone's room, and obviously you can't get in there because her mother's in there and everyone's in there as she cries. So now he's officially desperate. He is officially not overzealous. He is vulnerable. He's in a vulnerable state, and it's the first time we see Marty Mauser in a vulnerable state, which is crazy because he goes through so many different passages of trial and tribulations that just don't work out. He fucks up at this hustling gig. He fucks up in a couple of different ways. He steals this necklace from K Stone at one point. Turns out to be a fake necklace. He does a whole bunch of manipulation and deceit and deceiving that leads him to nowhere. And now he's finally on his last straw, and now he's officially desperate to the point where he, at one point, gets in front of his knees and Milton in that apartment after he goes to K Stone's bedroom. He has to walk down the stairs and finally beg to Milton Rockwell to let him fly within the Japan, and he's willing to do an exhibition match with Endo, and he's willing to lose, and he's willing to make $1,500 to pay off this fine and to compete, hopefully, in this tournament in Japan. And what he has to do that, after disrespecting Milton Rockwell throughout the entirety of this film, making fun of his son, paying for his bill egregiously in front of his wife, in front of his friends, at the Hilton or whatever expensive hotel they're at in Britain during the first half of this film. And it's something else. I mean, we get to see Marty Mauser humiliated and stripped of his confidence. And we didn't see that for the entirety of this film up until that point. We get to see Milton Rockwell abuse him with a paddle, spank him in front of his friends. It's a great scene, and it's the first time we see a confident, a con artist in Marty Mauser realizing that all the roads that took him here led him to humiliation and pretty much ejected him of his confidence. Yes, he's going to Japan. Yes, he might have the chance to achieve his dream and do what he's meant to do in his eyes and in his passions. But he had to get humiliated in order to do so. He had to get stripped of his confidence. He had to get stripped to the point where he's just vulnerable and naked in front of these rich and powerful men just so he can make a measly $1,000, just so he can throw this exhibition match, just so he can help out Milton Rockwell's in company. And it's a terrific scene because the whole film, this might sound redundant, but we're getting these scenes where Marty Mauser is this confident, overzealous con artist who manipulates his way and deceits his way into certain paths for himself. And he only cares about himself, explicably. Even Wally, who drives him to New Jersey to help this hustle. Even Rachel, who's been knowing him since 8th grade, and he's clearly not addressing the fact that his child is in her and has been in her for 8 months, and he's just completely ignored her. And he's completely chucking up to impossibilities. And to me, it is great performance by Timothy Chalamet in demonstrating all these different windy roads that his character goes through and all these different emotions that his character goes through, and his terrific writing. And Marty Mauser is one of the most polarizing and unique and original characters physically and emotionally and narratively of this half decade, and Timothy Chalamet is at the forefront of it. Timothy Chalamet is a revelation. He is a spectacle. He is a magnetic force on the screen, and it really equates to a lot of great athletes and a lot of great performers with this performance. Timothy Chalamet is a legend in the making, and this is a stamping on who he is to come in the future, if not already. And honestly, I would say already. He is that guy. He proved that in the marketing, and he emphasized it through his performance here as Marty Mauser. It is one of the most electric, magnetic performances I've ever watched twice. I mean, I can't wait to watch this film a million times over for the filmmaking, for the writing, for the spectacle, and for the performances, specifically Timothy Chalamet, because why would you not want to watch this performance over and over and over again as many times as you can? And I will be seeing this movie 2 to 3 more times in theaters at least because it deserves that and warrants that because of how great of a film this is. I sat in one of the best seats of the house tonight for my second viewing, and I was mystified. Mystified. So I just explained to you the vulnerable and the stripping down of this confident, manipulative, and deceitful guy who is overzealous and seemingly never lose confidence no matter how drastic the situation gets, with the scene with Milton Rockwell in his apartment during K Stone's after party. So we finally get to see him go to Japan after another sequence of events that include this mobster, who's the character named Ezra, and Ezra has Rachel captive after Rachel tries to set him up and say that she has his dog. She really doesn't. That's a whole nother thing. I don't want to get into too many spoilers, but after that sequence of event, which is another crazy windy road, we finally get to see Timothy, aka Marty Mauser, go to Japan. And we finally get to see him show down with Endo twice. The first time was a farce, it was a facade. He threw that match due to what Milton Rockwell asked him to do. And we also get to see the final showdown where he somehow finally uses his confidence to make a point and get what he wants in order to pursue his dreams. And he doesn't manipulate, he doesn't deceive. He finally tells the full concrete truth for maybe the first time in this movie. And it's a terrific scene and it's a terrific payoff. And it's a terrific character arc because he realizes his dream and he wants to accomplish his dream. He wants to accomplish his passion and purpose. And what does he have to do that? Tell the goddamn truth because he won't be able to participate in this tournament in a week in Japan because he doesn't have the funds. And also, he is banned because he ran up the bill on the hotel in the first tournament he went to earlier in the film. The table tennis committee out in Europe does not like him. Does not like him. And he won't be able to compete against Endo in that tournament. So this is his chance. Is his last match going to be a farce against Endo? Or is he going to finally tell the truth and get a real and fair match against Endo? And that he does. He takes the mic, tells the crowd, hey, that was a fake, that was a farce. I didn't play to my best capabilities. That was a fucking lie. That was a facade. Which is pretty much a metaphor or kind of like a double-sided mirror to what he's been doing the entirety of this film. A farce, a manipulation, a deceiving, deceitful lie. And he wasn't benefiting himself. He was benefiting a man that he doesn't like, and honestly, who humiliated him and stripped him of his confidence. And he finally tells the truth to get what he wants and to achieve what he wants to. He gets the crowd to be on his side, and he gets Endo to give him another match that is fair and square. And what happens? He proves his ability. He proves he's the best, arguably, table tennis player in the world. And the match that consists of Endo and Marty Mauser to end this film, pretty much, is sensational in every which way. We get the Japanese side, we get the American soldiers stationed in Japan watching this match, which adds to it. We get this tremendous score overlaying this great scene, and we get two great physical performances, not only by Timothy Chalamet, but the actor that plays Endo. This is legitimately a great table tennis match, and I don't know about you guys. I don't know about you guys. I've never seen table tennis in my life. Never competitively. Maybe at like a party, a frat party, which I've never been to. I don't know why I just said that. Or like a high school party. But I've never seen one competitively between two professionals. And goddamn it, Timothy Chalamet and the actor that plays Endo seem like goddamn professionals. And that was exhilarating and intense. And goddamn, the stakes were high and you can feel it. And it was a cinematic great achievement from a filmmaking standpoint and from a physical performance standpoint. Timothy Chalamet looks unbelievable playing ping pong. Unbelievable. To make this sport seem that entertaining is an achievement in itself. And to see Marty Mauser beat Endo fair and square when he's actually showing off his true capabilities after finally telling the truth for the first time in this film, it is tremendous. The amount of emotions that let out from Timothy Chalamet in that scene is breathtaking, and I hate to be a softy here, almost fucking cried watching it the second time. I was with my friend, so I couldn't cry, but That scene where he finally accomplishes his dream after this nightmarish 8 months, 8+ months or so, and he finally does it after telling the truth and finally not being manipulative and deceitful for the first time. He does it, and he accomplishes his dream and his purpose. And he also realizes this isn't his main purpose in life. This isn't. As much as he loves table tennis, as much as he wants to be pro, as much as he wants this to be his living and how he makes a living, he realizes that this isn't his full purpose, and he realizes he finally has to address the truth when he returns to the United States and to America. And it's sensational, man. That last scene and ping pong sequence between Endo and Timothée Chalamet is legitimately one of the best sequences in all of film, and one of my personal favorites in the 21st century. And if you've been watching this channel, I've said it so maybe 6 to 7 times this year. This has been the best film of the year. This has been the best film of the year. This has been the best film of the year. But I'm sorry, guys. There's been a lot of great films. Eddington, 28 years later. A plethora of other films I saw this year that I reviewed on this channel. Like, it's been great film after great film. Weapons. But this is the cherry on top because of the character arc, the performances, the filmmaking, and all the things that make a great film. The composition, the soundtrack selection. This is just all signs leading to brilliance on multiple different levels. So when we get to see the great character arc with Timothée Chalamet's character Marty Mauser, we get to see him finally tell the truth, which leads to his purpose in life, which leads to him achieving his purpose in life. It's tremendous. It's tremendous, and it pays off mightily. And I can't get enough of how much this film rocks and it fucks. And when we get to see Marty Mauser return to America after beating Endo in Japan, he doesn't fly home on Milton Rockwell's plane because Milton Rockwell won't allow him because Marty Mauser didn't do what Milton Rockwell asked him to do. So he can't fly home on a private jet. Instead, he flies home with the American soldiers who were in the crowd watching him. They did him a favor. And as we see Marty Mauser hop off that plane, we see a different person. We see a person who realizes his purpose in life. We see a person who finally comes to truth with all the miscellaneous activities, the deceit and lies and manipulative natures that he was up to prior, and he realizes the purpose in his life. He has to address the truth that he's in love with Rachel. He wants to settle down. That is his kid that she's pregnant with and she gave birth to, and he's ready to love her, never leave her side, do what he ever has to do to be a parent and present in her life. He is finally ready to admit that they are meant to be together after being together and at least being friends since they're 8 years old. And that final scene we get of the film of Marty Mauser seeing his kid through the nurse window. The nurse holds up the baby and Marty Mauser starts breaking down for the second time in the film now. Previous to that, the 2 times he broke down, he's just confident dude who never lost confidence until he did with the Milton Rockwell scene. But that scene we get with Timothée Chalamet where he just starts crying seeing his baby because he realizes his purpose. He realizes that now he has a new passion outside in his life besides being a table tennis player and the best in the world. He loves the life he brought into this world alongside Rachel. He finally realizes what he needs to do in his life. And it's tremendous filmmaking and it's a tremendous performance. It's the second time in Timothée Chalamet's career where the film ends on him crying. And to me, this is the best display as that. As great as Call Me By Your Name is, and that end scene and end credit sequence of him crying is, this is the best part of it because of how greatly his character arcs and how greatly his character arc comes to a close and how satisfying and fulfilling his character arc is. And I love this film. And I know I've been rattling on for 45 minutes or so, but this film truly deserves that. This film is sensational. This film is honestly perfect. It's a masterpiece. It's a masterclass in performance. It's a masterclass in filmmaking. It's a masterclass in shot selection, cinematography, set design, set pieces, soundtrack selection, composition, score selection, score usage, the usage of scores, the dialogue written, the characterization of distinct characters. It's just phenomenal filmmaking. Phenomenal filmmaking. All the people that Marty has been neglecting in his life that truly love him and that truly care for him, all because he wanted to accomplish this crazy dream. He realizes how far that has taken him and how many different roads that's taken him down that ended badly. And we get to see his mother in the hospital. We get to see Rachel in the hospital. We get to see the baby, and it's just this tremendous ending to a great film. And of course, we get to watch that scene with Everybody Wants to Rule the World overplaying slightly as the screen fades to black and it fades to credits. This is a special film, and I feel like I talked about a lot. The intensity and the way this atmosphere is built in this film is incredible. Intensity, anxiety-inducing sequences that leave you speechless and leave you spellbinded. Attention to detail. The world building is a chef's kiss, which is an attribute to how well the set design, set pieces, and costume design is. This film is terrific. 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100, 1,000 out of 1,000. Josh Safdie's masterpiece, the cherry on top of 2025. Timothy Chalamet's best, and honestly, a very perfect film that might have just become one of my true and core favorites. And it's one of the best films of this half decade. It sits alongside Oppenheimer, if not ahead of Oppenheimer, and it certainly sits alongside Oppenheimer and One Battle After Another, which is crazy because you see One Battle After Another and you're like, there's no way there's going to be a film better than this one this year. And Josh Safdie, Timothy Chalamet, Gwyneth Paltrow and company top it. And quite convincingly so. Quite convincingly so. To me, One Bad After Another is like a 97. Marty Supreme is 100. This film is terrific, and I know I've been rattling on a lot, but this film deserved that much talk. And hopefully I didn't go on for too long. Hopefully I wasn't over the place. And hopefully I succinctly told you how I feel about this film assertively enough. Um, Timothy Chalamet stamped his presence in Hollywood, firmly took the torch that was passed to him through this film. Josh Safdie put the world of film on notice with this film and said, hey, me and my brother split, and I'm going to show you guys how dominant and how brilliant of a filmmaker and how brilliant of a creative I am. He proves that. Odessa Zion proves that she's continuously improving and she has a great cinematic presence and she has great senses of tonal change. And this film is sensational, from the action sequences, from the ping pong sequences, from the great emotional showcases. This film nails every goddamn scene and sequences, and I will be singing this film's praise until I need to stop doing so. And this film should win a lot of Oscars this year, and especially in Timothy Chalamet's category, Best Actor. This film is a revelation. It is a spectacle. Is it a magnetic force that you don't want to look away from, and it's a ride you don't want to get off of, no matter how much anxiety this film propels from your body and from your mind. But this film is exhilarating. From distinct characters to great filmmaking to great character arcs. This is Marty Supreme in my review. 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100. Follow me everywhere at Matt Talks Films, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Follow me on Letterboxd at Matty G's, capital MATTY, capital GZ. Follow me Letterboxd, reviewing every film. Yeah, man, I love this film. Call me lame, call me cliche, and call me someone that consistently flops. From this film being the best film of the year, from this film being the best film of the year. But hey, blame this year for being such a great year, because I didn't think this was going to be the best film of the year. I had great expectations. I was ready to get let down, but this film ultimately was the best film of the year. And there's multiple reasons for that hopefully you listen to and you're probably tired of me talking about. But nonetheless, Marty Supreme, probably the last film I review in the year 2025, but there's going to be more videos I do in the early 2026 calendar year where I talk about my rankings of the films I saw in 2025, and I can't wait to do that with you guys next week. Next week, We Buried the Dead comes out officially. I saw We Buried the Dead already, and I don't know if I really want to talk about it because I love zombie movies, but I really didn't love this movie at all. I could go see Anaconda, starring Paul Rudd and fucking Jack Black, but don't think I will. Instead, I think I'm going to see Marty Supreme 2 to 3 times. You know what I will do next week? I've talked about this film quite a bit on TikTok and Instagram and stuff lately, and YouTube Shorts. I'm gonna do a review on The Apartment. It's holiday season. I'll release it after New Year's, and I can't wait to talk about that film because it's my favorite film of all time, and it's perfect. It's perfection, and I want to talk about it with you guys. I feel like you guys like that video, so it's your boy Matt Talks Films. This is my review of Mario Supreme. These are my glowing thoughts and opinionated feelings about Mario Supreme. I loved it from top to bottom, through and through every layer, and I can't wait to see this film 2 to 3 more times in theaters because it's truly a special film, and I hope everyone liked it. If you made this far in the video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and share, and let me know in the comments how you felt about Marty Supreme, the best film of the year, and the true epitome of a cherry on top, specifically uh, specifically in the year 2025 when it pertains to film. So, it's your boy Matt Talks Films, and I'll see you next time.